Yeah, over the last couple of uploads, we have covered water gun parts and water guns. And in my last playthrough episode, I was doing some trial and error on an auto farm. Well, despite being happy with what I came up with, I decided to spend a little bit longer perfecting it so that I can get it out for you guys and for whatever platform you are on. So if this guide does help you, please do drop a like and subscribe. Join our Discord, all the links are down below, but let's do this. Water gun parts and water guns are both required for our picture book. However, they are only obtainable during the summer. We need 10,000 water gun parts for a magic attack bonus and 1,000 water guns for an attack bonus. Now that may sound a lot, but with this farm you will achieve that very fast. Now normally I would go through the items that you are going to need for this farm. However, I'm not going to for this guide, as I'm going to show you multiple ways to set this up so you can achieve it on your chosen platform. But you will need a captured blue mono or prince mono of level 10 or higher. You can even use your own tamed pet, but again, it must be at least level 10. But let's get started. And we're going to start with the smallest and the easiest. So just start off with building out to the water on an empty island. And we're going to start by just building a 1x1 inside the water. I'm going to place a floor in the bottom, and this is going to be our killing pit for our monos. Now let's just build this up a couple high just to stop any monos from escaping. But you want to leave one side clear, so this is the side that they're going to come in from. And I'm just going to place a couple of fast conveyor belts leading into that killing box. Now I've put down 6 fast conveyor belts into that 1x1. This gives us a nice little run up before we get into the kill box. And now we want to put a floor anywhere on the kill box. I'm just going to go for above. You can go inside, whatever, it doesn't matter, it's going to be removed. And we're going to stand on that floor with a sprinkler. We're going to place one down, and then we're going to jump and place another. Now you can remove the floor, which will make the sprinklers fall inside, and they will bob up and down continuously, which will keep our monos forever duplicating. Now we're going to place a floor just behind it like so for collection of all the loot. So I'm going to place a chest as close to the wall as I can and place an absorber on the back of it just so it's sticking through the wall, and I'm going to get it nice and centered just like so. Now the problem with that chest being there is the moment we get close to it, our monos that are going to be dying in that pit will start to jump towards you. So I recommend either waiting for them to clear before checking the loot, or placing a dropper on the back and potentially having the loot sorted, but we will go through all of that in a moment. So now I'm going to head to the start of our little conveyor belt track, and I'm going to place a floor down. Just like so. Now this is where we're going to bring in our mono. Again, you can use a captured blue mono or a prince mono, but they must be at least level 10. Or you can use a tamed pet, whatever, just make sure it's level 10 or above. And I'm going to go ahead and throw my prince mono onto the track. And as it's heading down, and as soon as it duplicates, I'm going to bring him back before he takes any damage, and that tower will begin to stack. Now if we head on over, you will see the monos are not only duplicating, but they are then taking water damage, and all the loot is being collected into that chest, including those water gun parts. Now this is the smallest but slowest version, but if you are on an old school Xbox One or something like that, this may be the route to go. If you find that you want to push it a bit more and you want this to go a little bit faster, just head back over to the start of your conveyor belt track and throw down your prince mono or blue mono again. Wait for the duplication to start, bring him back in, and there we go. There is a second stack added to that pile. And as you will see, the parts will be coming in even faster, and it will be extremely fast. But be very careful with loading too many monos inside a 1x1. You can get quite a lot in there before any problems start to occur, but if you really want to push the limits, you're going to want to use one of the setups we're going to go through in a moment. But as you can see, the sprinkler bobs up and down, which hits all the layers of mono and will just cause them to infinitely spawn. But let's move on to the next farm so we can ramp this up a little bit. Okay, now to ramp this up, it's actually extremely easy. All we are going to do is head to our current 1x1 that we built in the first half, and I'm going to place some additional walls round so it becomes a 2x2. So kind of like this. So we have our standard 1x1 here with the surrounding box outside. Now I'm going to remove these side walls because we want all of this to be open, and I'm going to place the floors back down inside again. So we have the same thing but bigger. And just to make sure everything stays inside again, we're just going to build up a couple of layers. That should stop anything from escaping. And because we're going to be doing a lot more monos, I'm going to go 3 high on this one. You can can actually go as high as you like, but with 3, I have never had any escape. So you should have something that looks like this. Now we're going to do the same trick with the sprinkler, but this time we're not even going to use the floor. We're just going to come into the middle. We're going to place one, jump, and place another. So we have the exact same setup, essentially. But the way we are going to ramp this up even more this time is we're going to go back to the start and put our floor down. And I'm going to put a second floor down here so it looks something like this. Now let's bring out another sprinkler, and I'm going to put this one on this square here. So now our setup looks like this. Now, of course, we need all the loot collected again, so we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to put a floor down either side here. I'm going to get a chest as close as I can, but in the middle. Place an absorber on the back to collect all the loot. Now, you do only need to do one. Just try and get it as centered as possible. And there we go. That is now ready to go. Let's head back over to our first platform, bring out our Prince Mono. We can then throw him down. He is then going to duplicate from this first sprinkler here. And as soon as he does, we're going to bring him back. They're going to go inside and be duplicated by the sprinklers inside our kill pit. And we're actually going to repeat this process as many times as we like, because the great thing about this setup here is you can go as big as you like, as long as you are only using small monos. So try and get as close to level 10 as possible. So I'm going to wait for the sprinkler to turn on to my right. As that's coming on, I'm going to throw down our mono again. Get him to duplicate, bring him back. And as you can see, the timer has 10 seconds down in the bottom right. So I'm just going to wait a moment. And as that timer is about to run out, I'm going to throw him down again. And there we go. He's going to duplicate again, bring him back. And I can keep repeating this process as many times as I like. Now, I have sat here for many hours and I have not had a single mono escape as long as you keep your distance from them monos. If you get close, they will start to jump around. It will be a nightmare. But as you can see, I'm keeping my distance. The timer keeps resetting. I'm just going to keep throwing my Prince Mono down, bring him back, and look how big the stack's getting. Now, in my playthrough episode, I did actually put conveyor belts on the top of our kill box so that anything that tried to escape is brought back inside. You can do that if you'd like a bit of peace of mind, but I promise you, I have never had anything escape with this current setup. So I'm just going to keep repeating this process until I essentially get lag or until I hit the creature limit. And as you can now see, it's getting way faster and we are getting a whole bunch of parts. But as you can see, this is why I'm recommending multiple setups, because I don't know how this is going to run on an old school Xbox One. But let's just say you want to ramp this up even more. To do that, we are going to use breeders. So I'm going to start by building a 1x1 at the start of our conveyor belt. So we should have something that looks like this. Now I'm going to bring in a floor. I'm going to ungridlock it. I'm going to get the floor centered and I'm just going to lower it down a few clicks, clip it in there so you can see it's only just inside the box. It's very low down. It gives us a floor. Then I'm going to place a breeder over the top of our kill pit, and this will be for green monos. And I'm going to place a second floor above. It can be gridlocked with a second breeder pointing towards our conveyor belt. We're going to jump and place it up here so that anything that breeds will fall straight onto this conveyor belt. The only thing I would be careful of here is that this sprinkler is not too close to this setup, as your green monos will also duplicate. The sprinklers have a 3x3 radius, so it will reach to about here. Should be fine. If you're a bit worried, push it back a little bit, do what you need to do. Now, because we're going to be using breeders this time, I'm actually going to place a row of walls just down the side of our conveyor belt, just to stop any monos from wandering off the conveyor belt. So a nice blocked in track like so. But I'm just going to leave this one gap missing here, and I'm going to place an absorber right on the edge of that wall and as low as possible. So you're going to want to try and get it as close on the inside of that wall, something like that. Then you can go ahead and place a wall in its place, and that will ensure that any loot fell in here will also be taken down the conveyor belt track and collected in with the rest of our loot. Now, what makes this setup different is you are going to need above level 20 blue monos for the top breeder, because when they then breed, the offspring is usually a lower level. So of course, if you're using 2 level 10s, then the offspring has a chance of being below level 10, which then you won't get any water gun parts. And for our bottom breeder, we're going to want green monos at an even higher level, because they have to keep the 2 blue monos above alive. So I've gone for level 20 blue monos on the top and level 40 green monos on the bottom. You don't need quite that difference, but that's just what I do to make sure it's all safe. So we're going to start by throwing our green monos onto our bottom breeder just to ensure all of that works. And what we should see happen here is once the offspring falls into our killing pit, it will be wedged behind that wall, so it won't be able to go down the conveyor belt track. So as you can see, it's just dying right here. That is then going to die and heal the 2 on the top, as well as it would heal the blue ones when we put them up there as well. So now I'm going to throw our blue monos on the top as well to get them going. Now, if you will also see, when the green mono dies, the egg will be taken down the track and collected in with the rest of our stuff. So then our offspring will come down, be hit by the first sprinkler and taken into our kill pit. And this now means you don't need to throw your own pet down. This will just run forever, and this will get bigger and bigger and bigger. But again, please be very careful using this setup if you're on a lower end platform. And if you wish, go ahead and put more sprinklers down that conveyor belt track to ensure they get even more duplicated. But as you can see, we've got a great amount of blue monos building up, which of course means more water gun parts, and we don't have to do anything because the breeder will do all the work for us. And that is essentially it. Now, you can ramp this up even more if you wish with multiple of these setups. However, this is extremely fast and you probably won't need to do much more than this. And as you can see, we have already acquired a bunch of water gun parts and we need 50 to make a water gun. Now, this is completely optional, but if you wish to have it sorted and even crafted into water guns, you absolutely can. So now let's take our chest and let's add a bunch of droppers right to the far edge. And when I say a bunch, I'd recommend putting on as many as you can, because as you've seen, that loot comes in very fast and you want it to come out instantly. So just keep spamming it down, get a bunch on there. Now you can have that shoot straight into a sorting machine if you want. However, the way I like to do it is I like to put down 2 conveyor belts right here and place a wall behind. This will just mean any loot that gets shot out will be collected onto this conveyor belt. And it also takes the loot away from this chest, meaning I have no reason to come over here, which means the monos in the kill pit won't jump towards me. So I'm just going to place down a couple of conveyor belts here to bring the loot this way. And I'm now going to place a 3-way sorting machine on the end of those conveyor belts. Now, what you do with this sorting machine is completely up to you. Now, the 3 resources you are going to obtain from this farm are eggs, cactuses, and water gun parts. So you have an exit for each resource if you wish. However, I know a lot of people have already finished their eggs and cactuses, so you could place a storage on each end to have each resource collected separately. This will allow for a lot more storage, so you could just leave this farm going for as long as you can, or you could have the eggs and cactuses destroyed and only collect the water gun parts. However, this completely gives you the option to add an auto assembly machine to the end of this to have them crafted into water guns as well. However, I like to do this a little bit different, so I would actually place a conveyor belt here. This is where my water gun parts are going to come out. I'm going to have them collected into this large storage container, and from there I'm going to offer them all to my picture book. When I've then finished my water gun parts, I will transform this into a water gun crafter. And there we go. That is a fully automatic water gun part and water gun farm. Now, I really hope you enjoyed this guide. If you did, please do drop a like and subscribe. Remember to join the Discord. All the links are down in the description below. Go and get your water guns finished before they disappear for another year. This room can only be described as an oven right now in this summer heat. So much so that I would love to join those monos in that killing pit right now. But most importantly, enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace!